One more thing I want to bring up about this whole fiasco at the Elimination Chamber and the turn and the Zabada. I saw, and again, I don't even know, it wasn't the angle that they shot on the pay-per-view. I saw the pay-per-view, but then I saw this angle on Twitter. I don't know where they got it. It was good quality video, but this fucking Travis Scott character slapping Cody Rhodes across the side of the fucking head, and you could see fucking Cody sell it too, like, ha! And I said, what? You can, this idiot, this Mark in there potatoing people, you can bust somebody's eardrum like that. Because if you slap them hard on the ear, the concussive effect, it's worse than a knockout punch. If that air is forced into your eardrum and it busts it, you can have infections. It's a horrible fucking pain. It can, if you're bleeding out the ear, possibly, it can lead to serious issues, a whole 9 yards. That's why I hate these fucking idiots do these slap fights. You know, one good, well-placed in the right place slap that somebody sells is good. The rest of them are just needless risk to your hearing. But nevertheless, apparently, from what is being reported, who could have known this? Brian, he busted Cody Rhodes' fucking eardrum and gave him a black eye with the same slap. What the... There were people not happy, and I was amongst them. I don't think you were too warm on it, that this clown was standing around with his dick in his hand, literally once I saw, in the middle of this angle between these great top pro wrestling stars, and just because The Rock likes this guy because he's a star to apparently the people that Rock aspires to be a star to and is trying to leech off of his popularity. But otherwise, he was as useful as Adrian Street would say, a spare prick at the wedding in this wrestling angle. And he fucking nearly deafened the most popular wrestler in the company. Your thoughts on whether he should be strung up across a fucking hood of a car and run through a flaming fucking donut?
Well, sadly, this is the least amount of people injured at a Travis Scott event. But no, I think when The Rock at his press conference said that he told Travis Scott to lay it in, or whatever he said. You said he wanted to get his hands dirty. I said, well, you better make it look good. You better. And then he went out there and he slapped Cody in the face when Cody wasn't prepared for it. Cena was right behind him after trying to tug him up, too. Apparently, Cody has a black eye. Apparently, Cody has a busted eardrum. And again, I hate to pile on The Rock, but if The Rock books a celebrity and then tells them to go in the ring and do whatever they want, or make it look good, and they have no idea how to throw a working punch or slap, and most of us don't, that's a problem. And I said Cody's going to give him his receipt. Trust me, the rest of the locker room is not too happy about it either. It was one of the more unprofessional things we've seen on this show ever.
I would love to see Travis Scott in the Royal Rumble now, I'll tell you that. But no, I don't care who it is. If there is somebody in the ring when you are doing an angle, I've never had a fireman that was giving an award for a charity fundraiser when physicality broke out. I've never had one of them unaware of the basic thing is do not do any, just get out of the way. If they get involved, get out of the way. And anything on up, any kind of celebrity or outsider or even member of your announced staff or anybody who's not normally part of the physical program, encompassing everybody in the world of wrestling, if it's not a wrestler or somebody that's normally physical, they are specifically told in any production I've ever had anything to do with, in any promotion, from the WWF, WCW, Ring of Honor, Smoky Mountain, OVW, whatever the fuck, either don't do anything or here's exactly what you're going to be doing. There's no gray area left, like I didn't know what to do, or room for interpretation, like I thought I should do something. It's clearly spelled out because they're not experienced and because you don't want something that's going to. Well, I always worried about something looking phony because with most people, that's what they try to do. They try to do what they've seen on television, and it looks as phony as a fucking football bat. But this guy just committed felonious assault on a guy because he was laying face down with his head turned to the side, basically, and didn't even know that it was coming. That's completely unprofessional. But unless it was specifically told to this fucking idiot, Travis Scott, by The Rock or Cody or Cena or the producers of the segment, to just hit him at will, whether he's looking or not, then that's something that you'd be a stupid idiot to do to begin with. To hit a guy that's in that position that doesn't even know it's coming that hard. What? So he's just an asshole. And the producers, I'm sure, were mortified. And, and I'm sure they didn't say anything to him because he's allegedly this fucking star. But if I was Cody and he popped my eardrum, I'd snatch him around his fucking goozle pipe as soon as I got to the back. It was and I think I said that on last week's program. It was uncalled for, and it was stupid. Unless he thought he was in a real fucking fight, in which case somebody needs to be goddamn sending him in for some kind of evaluation. Travis Scott needs to have somebody kick him up between his fucking taint. I'm going to burp there. That's what I think of Travis Scott.
Yeah, I mean, who should be the person to say lay it in? The Rock or Cody?
Well,
if there was anyone to say it, obviously.
The Rock saying that I told him, he wants to get his hands bloody or whatever, so make it count or something like that. That sounds like some, bullshit fucking bravado trying to make up for the fact that this guy just went into business for himself. And The Rock say, well, I told him to make sure he makes it count. He may very well have turned around and been, what the fuck did you just do? But no, if the time for that to be said would have been when Cody was sitting there when they were talking about this whole fucking thing. If anybody says lay it in, it's when they're talking about what they're actually going to do. I can't say to you, lay it in on somebody that's not even hearing this conversation, unless if you do, that guy's going to come back and punch his shit out of you because he wasn't part of the fucking agreement. It just doesn't make sense. I think the guy just thought, I'm standing around, I ought to do something. I'll slap this son of a bitch. And The Rock's trying to take somehow credit for that because it didn't even make sense where he hit him where he was. If they had called for the spot to feature Travis Scott striking Cody in some kind of fashion, then The Rock would have picked him up in a surfboard type of thing with his arms behind his fucking back and on his knees so that Travis Scott could have a good shot at it. Instead, it was just like a fucking guy who didn't know what he was doing, trying to do something. And I think that's what it was.
Well, we'll see what happens. We'll see who gets that receipt if Cody does himself. Maybe Brandy can go in there and slap Travis. That would be a hell of a fight.